Hi then, welcome back to Butcher Bangers. We're making a start on the MOT work. Make a start at the back end, wheel bearing, brake pipe. I have got a brake cylinder in case I need it. What I'm doing here is, I'm doing the wheel bearing old backyard redneck style. Quite simple. Get yourself a couple of sockets that are the right size. I've got two like that. Basically put them on there, use them as a big punch. Get yourself a big hammer, welly them, and then comes out like that. Obviously it is suggested to use a press, but don't have that sort of budget in my life, unfortunately. So I basically just got to set up on two axle stands here, and then we'll do the same but in the reverse order. So I'll go and get the wheel bearing. New wheel bearing, quite simple. It'll guide its way down itself for the most part, and basically use your old bearing as a bit of a guide. When you're starting off, obviously be careful. You don't want to be knacking up any of the seals on the bearings, because otherwise it won't last 5 minutes. So and you want to try and make sure it doesn't go in wonky. But yeah, we'll get this put in and see what the finished article's like. And bosh, like that. No bothers whatsoever, straightforward, flew in, no issues and no crying. Now, I know people are going to be saying that it's not the correct way to do it, and there's probably people grimacing at the thought of me doing it. But what do you think your garages do when they're doing wheel bearings and the presses break? They do that. What do you think they did before presses were invented? They did that. So yeah, work for them, it'll work for me, and it'll do the job. Yes, I could go to a garage. I know my previous employees quite happily for me to go and use a press where I get my cars MOT'd. I can go and use their press, but my MOT garage is closed now, and my previous employee is about 7 or 8 miles away, and by the time I've been there, done that, I could have done that in, that took me 10 minutes, whereas doing that would take me half hour, 45 minutes. So it makes sense doing it that way. So yeah, gonna crack on doing the brake pipe now. I'm rushing a little bit because I am trying to squeeze as much as I can of this into one video without my phone having a dicky fit. So yeah, I'm gonna keep cracking on. Right then, brake pipe done. As you see there, put a new blade nipple in it. I'll put some new bolts in the brake cylinder, so we'll save ourselves 12 quid, which is 12 quid in my pocket. I'd rather it be in my pocket than somebody else's pocket, but that's quite a nice tidy job. I'm just letting gravity blade it for now, just to fill up the pipe, because I am very cautious. You don't want to be trying to pump it straight away. With all cars, I like to try and make sure there's a little bit of fluid in, rather than just hammering it an old master, because sometimes it can go fully. So we're playing on the side of caution. But yeah, we'll blade that up, and then I'll show you. Here we have the old one, if it'll focus. That is why we're changing it. It's rotten. There's another spot as well that's starting to go, which is a little bit naughty as well, which is that spot there. So that's for the bin, the new one's in, and we'll get this back end buttoned up. I've had a look at the number plate light as well while I was here. tinkering in the plug and in the light, but I think it's going to be alright. I do need to get a new bulb for it, so we'll get that sorted. We'll get these, I need to go pick up some more parts for tomorrow. We'll get these brake cylinders taken back. Get our money back for that. Yeah, we'll keep cracking on, we'll get this drum put on. I'm not messing with the brakes because the brakes were perfectly fine. So we'll just get it buttoned back up, tighten back up, get it back on the floor and onto the front end. I've also got an exhaust mount to do with this end, actually, I've just remembered. But that is an easy job to do. It's just that thing there. Just a bolt-on part. Nothing too exciting. Yeah, we'll get this end buttoned up and crack on with the front. Right then, progression. Most of the stuff is done. All that's left to do is the front coil spring, the upper mount, the number plate light, exhaust mounting, and a steering rack gator tomorrow. I am swiftly losing daylight. I did decide in the end to get some distant pads for it. Quite basically because everything else was ridiculously cheap. You know, we got new ball joint, new little anti-roll bar bushing. For two of them came out at £6 for two. Absolute bargain. So yeah, we have got our broken spring there left to do. Yeah, other than that, it's all pretty straightforward. Good progress made so far. The other bits will be here tomorrow. I have got things like me top mount here and me steering rack gator, so I'll crack on with them in the morning, and then I'll go and pick up the rest of my parts. And I've done a deal for another car as well, which will split some opinions, but I'm looking forward to it. But the main focus so far is this Clio, so we'll get it sorted, get it done, and get it sold, and we'll keep cracking on. Right then, we're trying to do this steering rack boot, which, as you can see there, is absolutely kaput. I see all sorts of little gizmos for doing stuff like this, separating tracker ends. All you need is a hammer. And there we go, it's as easy as that. Always make sure you crack this nut off, because otherwise you're going to have a fight on your hands. And then if we just quickly pulls that off, it drops out, no bother. And to save yourself from having to track them up, all you'd have to do, count your turns and just put it back on how many turns it came off, and it'll save you from having to do the tracking. So there's a little tip for you. So we'll get this boot knocked off and then we'll move on to doing the strut work. Right then, well, we'll definitely have to make this a quick one because the weather's starting to take a turn. So we've got new coil spring on the driver's side, and here on this side we have our new steering rack boot, and you can't see it, but up there's a new top mount. So yeah, all that's left to do, bang wheels back on, torque wheel nuts up, and then get it down for a retest. Hopefully my auto should be ready, so I'll just swap them over and do it like that. So quite busy, so we've got to crack on. So anyway, what we'll do is we'll leave this video here for now. All the usual links are in my description down below, and please hit that subscribe button if you like my content. And thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.